Alright, it's taken several runs for me to figure out how to get the video camera recording properly instead of being on timer. Apparently I can only handle something with very few buttons. Anyway, what I'm going to make here today is a lavender goat's milk soap with just lavender essential oil in it. I am coloring with 2 shades of purple. The first one is just a purple mica, and the second is the same purple mica with a little bit of black oxide added just to darken it. And I'm going to be using my big Soap Hutch slab mold. It makes 18 bars with dividers, and I've made the soap many times, so I don't really expect anything to go terribly wrong. But, you know, if they're going to, they will. Now, I noticed in viewing the videos that I put up last weekend that I live, for all intents and purposes, in a very, very pink world. And that's okay, darn it, because I'm a pink girl. Just ask my mama. Anyway, I have had my lye solution cooling. I did use frozen goat's milk, and it's about ready to go. And I'm just going to unceremoniously toss that in and stick blend just a little bit, because what I want to do is swirl the top of the slab of soap with my chopstick or double pointed knitting needle. So it's going to be, it has to stay at a fairly light trace to do that. So I'll just get this show on the road. I'm wearing gloves and goggles. I usually do, but I made the mistake doing my sweet pea of thinking that I could go ahead and not be gloved up, and that was a big mistake because I actually ended up with some raw soap just at the underneath the edge of my fingernail, and you can't imagine really, unless you've ever done that, and I would suspect that most people haven't, you wouldn't imagine how much that would hurt and how you can't get rid of the hurt. Anyway, in with my lavender essential oil. With an essential oil I sent at 3%, which is in the safe range, and I use sodium lactate as well because I just think that, especially in the slab mold with the dividers, that it makes unmolding just much easier. So I like to use it for most of my soaps. The only time I don't use sodium lactate is if I'm making embeds to put into another batch and I want them to stay fairly soft. And because my recipe is quite a hard recipe anyway, because of the hard oils and butters, I really don't want it to be brittle. So, whoa, okay, that's kind of a, see, that's the good part about wearing gloves, is you can swipe it up with your finger and it's not too bad. Most of this soap will be white. The color will go down into the soap a little bit, but not overly. And most of it will stay on the top, and the dividers will drag it down along the sides of the bars. It looks really pretty when you take it out. Okay. I'm going to give those a quick buzz in a second, but that, I believe, is the lighter of the purples, I think. I'll know in a second anyway. Yes, it is. I did a batch of this about 2 weeks ago, and I put a little bit too much black in, and you know, it still looked purple in the cup, but it really does kind of have a blackish cast in the mold. So I'm going to whiten the rest of the batch a little bit, not too much. And okay, not too much, just enough, just enough. Lots of people think that lavender is kind of an old lady soap, and I don't agree. I think straight up a lot of older women do like it, but I use it in a number of blends, fragrance blends, and it is the young women, I would say, that go the most for the lavender vanilla, which I haven't done as a soap in quite a while, but I feel like I should, because I do it as a bubble bath, a foaming milk bath, and as a bubble balm, and both of those in the vanilla lavender are really popular. Okay, I'm hoping that I can get this in and show you properly. I got all my molds and stuff washed up here the other day, and it's a shame to muck them all up again, but it's I'm just going to take my soaping dishes right upstairs and not do the habitual get them all dirty before you wash them all thing that I normally do. This was a custom mold that I treated myself to a number of years ago from Soap Hutch, a gentleman named Rich Bartko in Texas. I gave him the bar sizes that I wanted, and this is kind of a convertible mold. I can use it as the slab for 18 bars like I am here. I could do the bars actually 3 deep, but I like a little bit of texture on the tops of them. And it also is, I can use it as a block, and also, sorry about that, jiggling and jerking you around. I can use it as a block and then cut my own logs. And I can also make logs with dividers. And okay, I've done some from up high, some down low. I wish I could say that this looks the same every time I make it, but it really doesn't. And you know what? I don't really care. I just sort of try to get soap into all the areas of the bars. And I probably, if I was thinking, I wouldn't have done quite so much color, but too late now. Just going to do one last little drizzle, and then I'm going to bang it again, I think. And I don't really care if I get a little bit of this splatter going, because I think it looks kind of cool in the finished bars. Now, okay. I don't really want it up the walls of the mold particularly, but oh well. Now, I'm not going to necessarily wipe that all down right away. And because I really like the point on it, I use these little double-ended knitting needles, which have never been used to knit a darn thing. And I just show you how I roll here. I just kind of go diagonally one way, and then diagonally the other way, and kind of up the sides a little bit. And then I'm wiping off my stick, and I'm going to go back and just make sure that there's color everywhere and I don't have any weird patches, which, you know, it happens. If you're random, like I am, I do like, you have to think of how it's going to look in the bars, and you don't want big blobs of color. But I don't want to create a lot of carving in it either, so anyway, I think that's probably going to be it. And like I say, I don't really care if there's soap up the sides at this point. And I get my handy dandy little dividers, which are already put together. Rich is brilliant at this. And I push down through the bars. These slide off for when I want to unmold. And I'm just going to tap it down one more time for good measure. And they will look a little closer down on the sides and a little poofier up. I'm just going to grab you so that you can have a look at the tops of the bars. There they are. Anyway. Alright, so I will show the unmold at the end of the video, and whoa, I will talk to you later. Okay, this is the lavender slab, and first thing this morning I took the main mold away from it, and there's a silicone mat that goes in the bottom of the mold, and so I took it off, and now I just have the thin side pieces and the partitions. I took the handles off the partitions, and I don't know if this is ready. Usually if I leave it exposed to air on the top here or on the bottoms of the bars, it does harden up and sort of let go of some of its moisture. Sorry, I'm on my second cup of coffee here. It's a rainy day here, and so what I do here is I don't want to really break. I want it to let go gently so that it doesn't pull the soap away from the sides. So what I do is I kind of just see if it's ready. And there is a little bit of movement under my fingers, but it's definitely trickier removing soap from this mold. Okay, well, that's better. Getting the bars out of the center is, and if I'm patient and wait 2 days, I don't have this issue. But see, this part is letting go a little bit. Okay. There we go. I'm going to get this end off. There we go. And that's kind of how it looks for the time being. And you know what? I'm just going to leave it, because chances are it'll do its thing. And some of these bars will just push right down, and I'll just push them out the bottom, or I guess out the top. Oh, there we go. Nothing. Just slid right off. And that's how I like it. I had a different mold like this, but the HDPE, the material that the mold is made out of, was not glassy smooth like this one, and it didn't let go of the soap. But this is beautiful. Beautiful, nice smooth glassy surfaces on all 4 sides. And that's what the top looks like. This is a really pretty soap. Very, very good seller. Probably one of my top sellers. And like I said, not just to little old ladies, although lots of older women. And really, what's an older woman anyway? Am I an older woman? I would say this is a very herbaceous lavender, not a real floral. And you know, I'm going to just say lavender is not. It really can be different from bottle to bottle, but this one was recommended to me from Essential Depot, from down in the States, I think Florida, and I like it a lot better than the other lavenders I was using, with the exception of the Bulgarian lavender, which I like a lot. Whoops, there's one that's kind of in a sticky pickle. I don't force them usually, and here's the other end. It's kind of a weird and wonderful, but this batch is actually coming out pretty good. And I think just taking the outside pieces and leaving it upside down for a while was what did it, because the last batch was tougher. Oh, there's still one in there. Was tougher than this one. But yeah. Anyway, lavender. This isn't a real floral lavender, and I personally don't care for the floral lavenders, and I really, really hate lavender fragrance oil. I've never smelled one that I liked. To me, that is just nauseating. But not so much this. The lavender fragrance oils give me a super duper headache, so I don't go there. The natural one is much nicer, probably better for you, although not without its own cautions. Okay, you know, I'm not sure I'm going to do this. Oh, twisted sideways and it came off. I might have to do a big block in this mold so that you can see what I'm talking about. It makes 3 big logs of 12 soaps each. I usually save that one for something that doesn't have a lot of color added. Oh, there we go. Okay, that's 14 out of 18. This is my lucky day. This one might give me trouble. It's like, kind of like once you start, you feel like you gotta finish. And I knocked a tiny corner off the bottom of that one, but oh well. It's not the end of the world. Anyway, getting a nice assortment of bars here without too much damage. Sometimes what I do is I just stick the actual bars on the edge of my table and then just slide. This one might work better if I put it upside down, and try that. But I don't really want to muss up the tops of them. Oh, there we go. One. There's one in the quest for soap freedom. There we go. And another. Got some edges to shave off tops of these bars. Okay, come on. Yep. And I have like about 100% success on those. Anyway, there they are. I'll try to get a picture of a few and post it at the end of the video and get these up today. Thanks for watching.